Guilty Movie Pleasure fans, our mission that we chose to accept was to actually record an episode this week. Is that a dove? Oh yeah, because we're covering Mission Impossible 2!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Guilty Movie Pleasures.
Limp Bizkit doing the theme song. Isn't that what you said, Steve? Limp Bizkit did the theme song for this?
Yes, sir.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. You doing all right?
Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
It makes me gag.
Oh, I don't know why.
This theme song. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls,
They did
Mission
it all for the
Impossible
Nippy.
fans, we're back! Guilty Movie Pleasures. We've been off for a couple weeks. I'm your host, Ben Begley. You can find me at the Ben Begley on the Twitter and the Instagram. And with me, as always, is Jesse McIntosh.
That's me. You can find me at Too Much Jesse on the Twitter and the Instagrams.
Look at that. I did it right for once.
Well done.
I
He's
remembered.
been practicing for 3 weeks straight, just going over and over in his head.
I'll
Yeah.
forget it by next week.
That's all right.
So we're back, and we decided to cover in both. I just to speak for you as well, I assume,
Please.
is both of our opinion the silliest and definitely the only guilty Mission Impossible movie. Because whereas the other ones get silly and crazy, they're all actually incredibly well-made action films.
And as far as I can remember, this is the only one with doves.
Yes, this is
that accurate?
because this is like okay.
they
So
spent
this
their
came
dove budget on this one?
This came out in 2000, which was right around the time of John Woo exploding in Hollywood. 'cause-
Also, right around the time that Will Smith released Will 2K, I believe.
there you go. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So everybody wanted to work with John Woo because John Woo, up until then, I feel like action movies kind of had this standard way of shooting, and then he made these like bullet ballets, is what they would call
Oh,
it.
That's
interesting.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, his first movie.
Hard Boiled, The Killer, Face Off, Broken Arrow was the first one in the States.
what was
right?
that one?
Hard Target.
Hard Target. That's right.
Jean-Claude Van Damme and Lance Hendrickson.
Oh, that one's great. And I love John Woo. I think he is awesome. I think Face Off is great. Hard Target's great. Hard Boiled, his movie with Chow Yun-Fat, The Killer.
Only hard stuff
Only
that
hard
he
stuff.
deals with. Yeah.
A Better Tomorrow. I'm a huge fan of his movies. I just don't like this as a Mission Impossible film. We talked about this briefly.
Yeah.
Just quick little opinion out the gates. Even when I saw this in theaters, I was like, first off, it's pretty boring until the last like 45 minutes, and then it's nonstop action.
Yep.
And it's awesome action. It just doesn't feel like a Mission Impossible movie. It feels like the action scenes in Face Off with sort of Mission Impossible plot elements and a whole lot of exposition. So my thought is that John Woo is better at original properties, that he can do whatever he wants, versus a franchise like this, because it just feels weird. It doesn't match.
It was for sure incongruous with the first one.
It's the Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah. We were just talking before we started rolling here about how the Mission Impossible series and the Fast and Furious series are sort of on parallel tracks, where the first ones of each franchise were trying to do something.
Be gritty and like kind of realistic.
Yeah, they're both maybe on a little bit of a lower budget than their predecessor or their subsequent films.
Yeah.
And the second one just sort of took a step to the right a little bit.
And then, but with Fast and Furious, the third and fourth kind of kept going,
Sure,
and then
but
finally five came back.
They've had a longer
You're right,
tail.
you're right.
So the ones that have come out
sheer
most
numbers.
recently, the ones that have come out most recently have been just sort of like pure adrenaline action. Like, what's the craziest thing that we can have these people do?
Yeah.
Whereas the first ones were not really that.
And the reason to me, even though Tom Cruise did all of his own stunts in this too, and the stunts
Allegedly.
are really realistic, they just seem silly. They seem more like wire work, whereas the new ones, even the latest one, which you haven't seen yet, so I won't spoil anything, but you see in the trailers, there's this helicopter chase.
Right.
He actually learned how to do stunt helicopter flying, and that's legitimately him doing it. There's other crazy stunts that he jumps out of a plane and does a halo drop, which he actually did. So even though these things are absurd, you're watching an actor actually do it, and you're like, okay, I buy into this, because there's barely any, if at all, CG in these movies. I mean, there's obviously some, because they didn't really parachute down onto the top of the building in Paris in the new one. But, like, this one, the stunts just feel more like a Hong Kong action movie than a Mission Impossible film.
Yeah, it
And
feels. They
it's
also
just goofy. It's
also,
a little goofy.
Yeah, it feels a little gratuitous. Like
Lots of kicks, lots of flip kicks,
like they really, a lot of those. They really
hair whips.
a big part of the trailer is him climbing on the side of the mountain.
Yeah.
in the beginning before he gets his mission, and that's like as unnecessary a scene in a film as you'll ever find.
It's still awesome, but it's really long.
It's so long and so like unnecessary for the plot. I know I already said unnecessary, but like that's the only way to describe this scene.
Yeah.
But it's just like Tom Cruise being like, I want to do something cool.
I feel like it's, when I watch the behind the scenes, they pitched it as, this is what he does in his off time. This is his idea of relaxing, is nearly falling to his death while climbing on the Grand Canyon or wherever he was.
Cool. That's like kind of spin to me. You know what I mean? Like they conceived of it first, and then they were like, how can we make this seem appropriate?
Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, I think this movie's awesome if you take it as just an action film, but I don't like it. It's my least favorite Mission Impossible movie.
So I will say the first...
Did you see it before now? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The first Mission Impossible movie is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Really?
Yes. I love that movie. And so I saw this movie with high expectations. And
rightfully so.
The first movie is really more of a thriller. There are action elements.
Yeah.
But it's really more of a thriller than it is an action movie. And this one is... it's more of an action, like the balance switches from action to thriller.
Yeah.
Which I didn't love for the franchise, and I didn't love the way it was executed necessarily.
Which ones have you seen since?
I have seen the first 4, so I've seen.
What do you think of 3 and 4?
I really liked 3. I thought 4 was pretty good.
I loved 4.
I would go 1, 3, 4, 2 in the ones that I've seen.
5 and 6 are incredible.
That's what I've heard.
5 and 6. 6 is my favorite.
I gotta get on it.
6 is my favorite.
Yeah.
I had just seen 3 this week.
Oh, really?
I'd never seen 3 because I was so soured by this one that I skipped 3, and then 4 came out and everybody was raving about it. So I was like, I probably don't need to know what happened. And then like the whole Michelle Moynihan thing is important, obviously, but they do even in 6. I took my dad to see it in IMAX this past week, and he had never seen any of them. But they do a really good job of summing up things without making you feel like you're getting shoved exposition. Where it's like they remind you of stuff, but then build upon it, which is hard for franchises sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes franchises, like the Resident Evil movies, and other horror films, just legit do a previously on, basically, where it's like the Umbrella Corporation was doing this. But it doesn't really, Resident Evil, though, it doesn't really matter because each movie changes directions completely and makes no sense. But that is a whole other story.
That is. And this one, they do a very clunky job of what you're describing. And there isn't a whole lot of backstory to give, but the parts that they have to do exposition on are really, they stick out.
The most confusing thing until the last few to me is, why does he always have an ever-changing group of buddies except Ving Rhames? Like, there's always some new guy, and he's usually British or Australian, and then they finally land. It's like they were testing out the Brits and the Aussies, and then they were like, Simon Pegg!
Simon Pegg is the one.
Yeah, Simon Pegg's been in
he's
I think
great.
3 of them
He's been
now.
in 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no.
He's been in 4 moving forward, yeah.
He was in 3, too.
Yeah.
He started in
was he
3,
really?
4, 5, and 6, so he's in 4
so he's
of
been
them.
in 4.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So that's what's
they
great.
settled on
and
that.
then they tried to bring in Jeremy Renner in 4 to like, because I think they were worried Tom Cruise was going to age out of it. So he was, which is ironic that they bring somebody who's like 5 years younger or something. That's what's always so funny to me. They're like, he might get too old.
And honestly, like maybe looks older than Tom Cruise? Question mark.
Renner looks older.
He looks older than he is for sure.
Before we get into Mission Impossible 2 more, which we haven't even yet, can we just talk about how I feel like Tom Cruise is either superhuman or just thinks he is so much that he's become that. Like, the shit he does, and in this new one, like, just my dad and I were talking about it afterwards, like, learning how to fly a helicopter, which most advanced helicopter pilots can't do those stunts. The motorcycle chase that he does. He actually rides a motorcycle full out in the new one as well. He does a halo jump that he trained for a year for. Like, he has unlocked some part of his brain that I don't understand.
Sure.
How does he only break an ankle after everything he's done? He broke his ankle doing a roof jump in the new one. How is he alive? I don't understand.
I have no idea. I have no answer for you.
I mean, I know he's into Scientology and he's kind of
insulated. Yeah.
But, you know, and people, that's the thing. People are always like, I'm not seeing that. Tom Cruise is crazy. And for me, I'm like, I don't know. Everybody, I've known people who've worked with him as crew and who've and other actors who have worked with him who said he's a lovely person to work with.
Yeah.
I'm not going to even touch Scientology during this episode.
Yeah.
That's just
There's, it's out there. You
it's
don't
out
need
there.
our opinions
yeah,
on it.
You
It's
just watch
fine.
the South Park
Yeah.
episode. But as a movie star, I think he's one of the last, like him, The Rock, George Clooney used to be, and he's kind of done more directing lately. But I feel like him and The Rock are still the only
Jason Biggs.
and Jason Biggs.
Yeah.
Channing Tatum.
Right.
Oh. But there's a select few people that can still headline a movie and,
Yes.
and just, I mean, The Mummy sucked though, but like he's still a movie star. Like
is.
Edge of Tomorrow is fantastic. American Made was great. All the Mission Impossible movies except this one.
Yeah, he's one of the few people. I mean, there are a handful of them, so I don't want to discount like how bankable other people are. But he's
Statham?
sure, but he's one of the few people that you can take something that isn't attached to IP and just give it to him, and he would be able to draw an audience,
Yep.
right? Like he doesn't need to be doing Mission Impossible movies to bring people. to
Unless it's
theaters.
something as terrifically terrible as The Mummy, and then that bombs. You know?
Yeah, I mean, but that was also part
is
of The
he-
Mummy. Like he's
Yeah.
done, like you said, Edge of Tomorrow. He did,
But Edge of Tomorrow bombed in theaters, and that was one of my favorite movies that year.
but it had sort of a second life after it.
Yeah. When they changed it to Live, Die, Repeat on video.
Yeah.
Or they basically called it Live, Die, Repeat, which is a great title.
What was the one that he did two of? Why am I blanking on the name of this movie?
He did two of?
Yeah, I'll come up with it.
Okay.
What was the action movie that he did?
Jack Reacher?
Yes, Jack Reacher.
Oh, I never saw either of those.
Those were pretty successful, right? Did I make that up? I mean, they did.
I started watching the second one on a plane, and I got real bored.
the first Jack Reacher.
I heard the first one's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think Tom Cruise is superhuman or a robot or something, because he learns things way too fast.
Sure.
He picks up choreography, like they were saying in this, like all these crazy kicks that he does that Jean-Claude Van Damme trained for years to do. Tom Cruise is just like, yeah, I'll do a flip kick. I'll do it. What, you want me to jump up and kick him and then do a spin around and fall? I have trouble now being in my mid-30s. The way he runs full tilt
Yeah.
for like a full half mile or so, I tried after Mission Impossible 6 just to run up from my car in the garage to my
Yeah.
condo.
How many people were watching
to
it?
get my key? Because I was like,
were like, "What's going on with?"
I was like,
Ben
here
Begley?
goes. And I got to my door. I was like, oh God. And I like pulled a muscle. I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
So he's in his 50s and killing it right now.
He sure is.
Anyways, now that I've just expressed my jealousy for Tom Cruise's super.
Listen, Tom Cruise has a lot of gifts.
He's the real life David Dunn, if you've seen Unbreakable. With
Yes.
he's the real life Bruce Willis's character from Unbreakable.
Yeah.
David Dunn.
Sorry, Bruce Willis.
Mixed with James
you're not
McAvoy
him.
from Split. That went deep cut.
That's okay.
If you're a super nerd of M. Night Shyamalan.
There's a new one coming out, right?
Hey, it's 39 minutes. We've already spent let's get into this.
We
Here's the
should.
thing. The first hour and a half, we can just go and then get to the action, basically, in my opinion, because there's not a lot going on.
We'll see.
Oh, I forgot my notes. Oh, they're on my phone. That's good. This is the first. This is what happens. So we're gonna do the plot in under 3 minutes right now, and
think.
we also have Jesse's sound clips that he grabbed this week. So
Do you like how he? If in case you guys don't like them, they're Jesse's sound clips.
No, it's in case I forget and don't remember what anything is, and I'm like, Jesse, what's this one from? So that it's explained that I'm not just
That's
having
fair.
a brain fart.
That's fair.
And just in awe of all that is Cruise.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise. What a crazy.
He's
dude.
actually So I had this conversation, and then we can do the plot in under 3 minutes. But I had
No
this
one
conversation.
cares.
No one cares.
Literally, no one's listening.
That's
right
fine.
now.
I'm listening, guys. I'm listening. I want you to know that I'm a loyal listener.
We got
to this
15 live
podcast.
viewers, and 2 of them are us right now.
That's-
We just tune in to get the numbers up.
I forgot to log in. One of them.
Somebody's
is us.
already unliked our video, disliked it, and we're not even started.
Someone's left the comment. Mission Impossible 2 isn't guilty. Someone's already left that.
Somebody
comment.
else said first.
Yeah.
I hate that.
But
It's not a comment if you're just saying first.
in like the mid 2000s,
Yeah.
I had this conversation with someone where it was like, I can't think of a Tom Cruise movie that was bad that I didn't like
Until The Mummy, yeah.
until recently
Yeah.
when he started doing more like just
Yeah.
churning them out.
I mean, Born on the 4th of July is his best performance, in my opinion. That movie's incredible.
Jerry Maguire,
Jerry Maguire's incredible.
Yep.
He's just infinitely charming.
A Few Good Men.
He may be nutty. And what's also funny is what we consider crazy that back then versus now.
Yeah.
Like if Tom Cruise went through that phase where he jumped on a couch on Oprah or on like a daytime talk show now, that wouldn't even get coverage. People would just be like, oh, cool, Tom, it'd become a meme and that's it.
I don't know. I a little bit disagree because entertainers are so like in those sorts of scenarios are so by the book and so like rote and so practiced with their
I just feel like
answers.
we've gotten crazy.
We sure have. But if someone out of nowhere just started cackling and jumped on a couch,
It was
like,
pretty crazy.
If like
I love her so much!
at the height of their popularity, like the #1 movie star in the world, and all of a sudden they're jumping on a couch.
It really felt like overcompensating.
I feel like we would have.
Let me
questions.
show you how much I love her. Ooh, that pulled muscle in my rib hurt by getting into Tom Cruise cackle land.
Mission Impossible is not going to be a Ben Begley property at any point.
If he ages out, they're definitely not going to come knocking on my door.
No, they're going to look for.
Considering I don't even like climbing up the ladder to my condo roof, let alone doing my own stunts.
I climb up ladders arms only. I want you guys to know that.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. I never noticed that big camera up there.
Now you
Or
have.
that tiny camera showing a big angle is what I meant. Anyways, let's do the plot in under 3 minutes.
We might as well.
Before 700 minutes pass and we haven't even talked about the movie yet.
All right, guys. There we go.
Should we do the entire thing in Doug
Got
Ray
4,
Scott's
3,
accent?
Nope.
2,
Doug Ray Scott.
1, go.
Okay, so we start off. Oh my God. Okay, so that made me intense. So we start off on a plane where you think Tom Cruise is with this Russian guy, Boris the Blade from Snatch, and he's like, "I'm carrying the Chimera," and he goes, "You shouldn't call me Dmitri, because that's the most Russian name ever, and I'm the most American dude ever." And he chops him in the neck, and then he poisons everybody on the plane, and it crashes. You're like, "Oh, Tom Cruise, what a jerk!" And he takes it off, and it's Doug Ray Scott. And then we have Tom Cruise doing the most masturbatory rock climb thing that's pretty awesome. Then he gets picked up, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to do this mission if you choose to accept it." With sunglasses, he throws them and it blows up.
Okay, and so then the first part of his mission is to recruit Danny Newton, who is
Takes about an hour.
Yeah, just a civilian, but he needs her for
Used
the
to be a
mission.
thief.
Used to be still a thief.
Oh, yeah.
And he joins her on one of her thieving missions, and they are able to steal a necklace. But
music's making me so nervous.
Yeah, I know. He sounds the alarm, and she has to give the necklace back, and then she hates him, and then she almost runs him off a cliff when he's chasing her in the car, and then
seems
all
so
of a sudden
stupid.
they're in love with each other, and then he's told by Anthony Hopkins that he actually needs her to seduce what the guy's name? I
Doug
forget the
Ray
guy's-
Scott,
Doug Ray Scott.
Ambrose,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ambrose, Sean Ambrose.
And he's really jealous, and they're like doing these surveillance missions, and then he's like, you got to get out of here, and then it goes on forever, and then they go to this horse race track where the big mission impossible there is that she has to get a memory card out of his pocket and get it back to him, and then she puts it in the wrong pocket, so he starts suspecting her. You think Tom Cruise goes to rescue her, but it's actually Ambrose because he has the face printing mask
And at the
technology
same
too.
time, Tom Cruise is pretending to be Dmitri, or pretending to be the Russian guy.
Yeah.
And he gets the head of the company and gets
Yeah.
him to tell him what the Chimera and the antidote was for.
Yep.
And so now everyone knows what's going on. And
then there's an action sequence at the lab biosite where they go to try and steal the virus because they realize that they have the antidote but not the virus. So they go there, and Ambrose converges with Tom Cruise there, and there's this big face-off style John Woo shootout where he's double gunning the whole time. And then Thandie Newton comes out, injects herself with the virus. Tom Cruise can't kill her. He blows up a bomb and jumps out and base jump parachutes out the building. And then now we're literally into the last action scene.
Yep, and so they're about to make the sale. They send
To
Thandie
someone.
Newton to someone. They send Thandie Newton now by herself to
With no guard.
to a city center just to infect
And she wanders
everyone.
off to the mountains to jump off a cliff.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise and his doves come in and they blow that up.
His buddies are pretty much useless.
Yeah,
they
and then
just
he-
fly a helicopter and go pick up Thandie Newton,
Right,
basically.
he gets on a motorcycle. They jump off the motorcycle together and they
There's a big
fight.
shootout before then.
Yeah, etc.
And then there's they do a fight, and he kicks Ambrose until his head hits a rock, and you think he's dead, and then Ambrose goes, "You should have killed me," but then waits a really long time to shoot him. Tom Cruise kicks up the gun, shoots him. They give Thandie Newton the cure, and everything's cool, and then they walk off and they make out.
Yeah.
I forgot how little actually happens in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it.
A lot of it is just really trying to cram in. The thing that drives me nuts is in 3, they do a great job of building up very quickly a love story with him and Michelle Moynihan.
Sure.
Where all they show is like a little dinner interaction with her and friends, and instantly you get their chemistry. And that scene, there's a scene in 3 where she's like, "How can I trust you with what's going on?" But she trusts him even though he can't tell her. And just something as simple as that moment makes you believe, okay, they have a deep love for each other because she could think he's cheating on her or anything, but she knows that he's doing something that is classified or whatever deep down.
Yep.
But this one, it's like you said, they fall in love from almost dying off a cliff.
Yeah, so we can jump right into this relationship.
Sure, let's just do the relationship
first.
first.
This is one of the more problematic parts of this movie.
Yeah.
Where he's given 48 hours.
You're going to have to help me with the sound clips because I don't have my glasses
I'll
on.
do the best I can. I have glare on that screen, so I'll do the best I can.
We're totally screwed.
Yeah, we just play them and describe them afterwards. But the
Oh yeah. You know what? Should we start at the beginning and
Let's start at the
let's
beginning.
start at the beginning. This is after the rock climbing stunt.
Morning, Mr. Hunt. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, involves recovery of a stolen item designated Chimera. You may select any 2 team members, but it is essential that the 3rd team member be Naya Nordorf Hall. She is a civilian and a highly capable professional thief. You have 48 hours to recruit Miss Nordorf Hall and meet me in Seville to receive your assignment. As always, should you or any member of your Iron Force be caught or killed, the Secretary will disavow all knowledge of your actions. And Mr. Hunt, the next time you go on holiday, please be good enough to let us know where you're going.
This message will self-destruct.
And then he
in
throws
5
his
seconds.
Oakleys and they blow up. Here's the thing. I feel like Anthony Hopkins, I love him as an actor, but I feel like he's bored AF in this movie.
they had
Was
him
he
for
in-
maybe 3 hours.
Was he in any other movie than this?
I don't think so.
Why do you get someone like Anthony? Every single Mission Impossible movie, they have a big named actor playing until Alec Baldwin came in.
Yeah.
Because in the next one, Lawrence Fishburne is the.
Yep.
It's like they just get an A-lister and throw him in there and never explain where his old boss went.
Nope. Well, it's the first one. His old boss was a traitor and was killed.
Yes. Who was his old boss in the
John Voight.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Jean Reno, aka the Professionals,
Yep.
and I remember that awesome helicopter explosion when it's chasing the train and crashes. Right?
Yeah.
Isn't that what happens?
Yeah. The helicopter goes into the tunnel with the train, and then they run after each other on top of the train.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's really right.
Okay, so a couple of things here. I tweeted something to this effect recently, but I just want to revisit. I would love to see just sort of a spin-off movie where someone gets the glasses and they're like, your mission if you choose to accept it, and they're like, actually, no. I choose not to accept it.
The IMF member who's like,
Yeah, I'm actually having a great time rock climbing.
because the new one, this is in the trailer. The bad guy, he's like, should you choose to accept it, I wonder, did you ever choose not to?
Right, no one ever does.
It's a pretty good impression of him.
That
by the
was,
way.
I mean, I haven't heard
Everything I say sounds like I'm whispering it through a snake mouth.
that. Sure does.
He's great though. Don't get me wrong. He's
I mean,
a great villain.
Nothing is more villainous than a whispering snake.
A kind of seductive whisper where you don't know if I'm going to offer you candy.
I actually can't unlock eyes with you right now.
So yeah,
So I always find that to be funny that they give them no out. Like, he gives her 48 hours to come meet him in Seville if he chooses to accept the mission. But if he doesn't, is Anthony Hopkins just gonna be there,
cool with it?
be like, oh, I guess I need a different guy.
how many people? Yeah, because they're on a time crunch.
Right.
Because Chimera, Anthony Hopkins knows is a super virus, or maybe no. It's always a MacGuffin. They never know until they get there what it is.
Right.
Like every single Mission Impossible movie that I can remember starts off with we got this thing, we're not sure what it is yet.
Can I ask a very basic question about Chimera?
You may.
And I hope that you'll be able to answer this
You
question for
may
me.
ask it.
Locked eyes. Is Chimera catchy?
Is it a contagious?
Yeah.
Not just a catchy tune?
No. Is it contagious?
Chimera.
I mean, it is that
It
for
is
sure.
that, too.
It's 100% that. Because dude
they
infects
said-
himself and then just goes on a plane.
Because she's in the middle. The rules are very loosey goosey because
you gotta nail that down.
because she injects herself and they let her loose in a big Australia
Right.
in a big marketplace or something, which they never show us. She's
Right.
just in the mountains, but they don't give her a guard, and they say that it's going to spread to millions. I guess it's only infectious. Okay, maybe it's infectious once she starts showing signs, after the 20-hour mark, when she starts bleeding and pussing from all her orifices from those photos.
Okay.
But that's still assuming somebody. Is it airborne? Is it?
That's what I'm saying. It's a virus, so
Yeah.
you can catch it.
Yeah,
and
but they
all
don't-
these people are just out in public, and they
Infected with
are
it.
infected with it already.
Especially the dude in the beginning.
Right, he's on the plane.
Boris the Blade. Which, man, blowing up all those people on the plane is cold, is ice cold.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done that.
DeGray Scott, Sean Ambrose, his character, I guess he used to be an IMF agent. They say
Like, up
loosely.
until the point he blows that plane up.
Yeah. Because they were like, oh, we sent him in because he's impersonated you before. That's what it is. So if Tom Cruise says no to the mission, they just send somebody who can wear a Tom Cruise
be Tom
mask,
Cruise.
who can be an Ethan Hunt. Because why? They said because
yeah.
I guess he had been doubling. I guess he thought he was meeting Ethan Hunt. I'm so confused.
It's an
incredible,
unexplained and extremely confusing introduction to
why
this
would
whole
Tom Cruise?
problem.
Why would Ethan Hunt be Dimitri and be the most American person on the planet named Dimitri?
I don't know.
Every Dimitri I've ever met, my neighbor's name is Dimitri, and he is a Russian man in his 70s.
And if Tom Cruise has been dealing with this guy,
Why wasn't he there?
why wasn't he there? And why doesn't he know what's going on with this guy? Because
He's rock climbing and didn't tell
when
anybody.
Anthony Hopkins is like plays him the clip, he's like, I don't know what's going on, but I know we got to get this guy real soon because he's like whatever.
doesn't make any sense.
And it doesn't make sense. Why don't you know this stuff? Aren't you
Yeah.
the agent working on this?
So wait, could we then draw the conclusion that everything that happens in this movie and all the deaths are because of Ethan Hunt taking a holiday and rock climbing?
So that's why it's important.
Yep. Because he didn't tell them where he was going. And so because of that,
Yes.
they sent in Ambrose, who then steals it, who then kills the entire plane, who then kills more people, who then brings in Thandie Newton's character.
And by the way, Ambrose,
it's all your fault, Ethan Hunt.
there are so many like
And just real quick before I forget,
Please.
they didn't learn their lesson because at the end, Anthony Hopkins says, or he goes, take a vacation, and then Ethan Hunt goes, oh, don't worry, I'll tell you. And he goes, oh, it's not a vacation if you tell me. And it's like, didn't you learn your lesson from the beginning of this movie?
Well, Tom Cruise says that in the beginning. It wouldn't be a vacation if I told you. Then Anthony Hopkins says it when they meet the first time.
Yeah.
Well, it wouldn't be a vacation if you told me. And then he says it again at the end. And they were leaning really hard into this idea
Yeah.
for no reason.
I don't know. What's the
I
you
don't
put me
understand.
here?
That's the next SoundCloud,
Okay.
I would assume. But yes, nice.
You put me here.
So Sean Ambrose is an IMF agent, works for the most sophisticated intelligence agency in the world, and he's able to build a network so large that he has his own compound, his own evil compound with bodyguards who he acquired from where? I have no idea.
With what money?
Yeah, with what money? But he's able to fool.
Because he hasn't gotten 37 million pounds yet for Chimera, and 37 million for a world-ending virus does not seem
You
like...
can't go to the bank and get cash for that, for the equity you have in this world-ending virus.
The other thing with bad guys that want to like destroy or wipe out the whole world or giant portions of it, what's he going to do with that money when we're all effed?
Right, but I think like he at least is selling the virus.
Oh,
so
he's selling the antidote.
He's selling
Yeah,
the
that's his
antidote
big.
as well.
And owning stock in Bioite. You're right. I forgot all that.
Right, but like all of that aside, I don't know how he was able to fool the IMF into like continuing to employ him when he was clearly working behind their back and building up an army of people who are never.
It happens all the time in movies, right?
But like the people on like all the soldiers on the motorcycle, like where did those guys?
It's like
come
400
from?
bodyguards.
How did he know them?
Were they just all pissed off IMF agents?
don't know.
I don't understand. I mean, the same thing happens on 24 back in the day all the time, where it's like, this is the counterterrorism unit, and you have more moles and more spies within your super elite unit than any agency I've ever heard of.
It's part of your qualification is to be a double agent.
It's so ridiculous.
Are you untrustworthy?
What is the you
so
put
you
me
put
here?
me here
Yeah.
is when
Sorry, that's what I was asking. I knew it was the sound clip. But
it's when they're stealing the necklace and Thandie Newton is on top of Tom Cruise and she's like, this feels a little precarious.
oh,
You put me here. I just do as I'm told.
It's Tom Cruise's attitude with all movies.
you know, that's what happened one time after I went on like a political rant on this show. I remember Steven, who works here, not you, Steve, in the booth, the other Steven who works here.
Oh.
He pulled me aside and was like, hey, you know, we got some comments on the iTunes page. And people, but he didn't care either way. He just wanted to let me know, just for future reference. He wasn't correcting me necessarily, but he was just letting me know that people were a little upset. And I just looked at him. I said,
You put me here. I just do as I'm told.
and since he didn't really tell me either way, I've just still done whatever I want.
Yeah.
but it's okay.
So that's
I've tried to pull back on the politics.
I was at a Renaissance festival.
That was a real stinker of one.
No, that worked. That was a winner. Let's vote. Let's put a poll up on the. How did that one go?
It's a really long build-up for like a.
I should also mention I was allowed to participate in the intro today for I think the first time.
Yeah,
I made the dove sounds.
It's not that you're not allowed. We just never thought of it. We should do it more often.
No, it's because I'm not allowed. I can't be trusted.
Because I can. I'm always perfect with my intros.
We have to trust one of us.
One of us.
You're in the right-hand seat, so you
The
get to be
bathtub
trusted.
scene is pretty sexy, by the way.
It is.
But it feels like a James Bond scene, not a Mission Impossible scene.
Yeah, it's a different direction that they go in. But what I was going to say is I was at the Renaissance. It's not even worth it. But I was at the Renaissance Festival when I was younger, and they do like human chess. And I moved my queen, and immediately the queen got taken by a pawn, and I was mad at the chess piece, and the chess piece just turned to me and said,
Hey, you put me here. I just do as I'm told.
I'm like, you're so right, chess piece.
You're so right, chess piece.
I never learned my queen's name.
It's all right, my queen.
It's the story of my life.
It's funny though. Yeah, like I said, the bathroom scene, it's sexy, but it feels out of place. It feels like a James Bond scene. It's like they couldn't figure out where this franchise should go, and then 3 and onward figured it out.
Yeah. So this is part of the weird, like, we have to force sexual chemistry on these two people, because Anthony Hopkins is explicit and gives them 48 hours. And in those 48 hours, he ruins her stealing of the necklace.
Yep.
They almost kill each other.
In that scene, keep going. I want to know your other list.
They almost kill each other. They then have a one night affair, and then he is madly in love with her and doesn't want her to risk her life in any way whatsoever, and is willing to risk his own to save her. And it makes no sense, and they didn't earn it. And what you're talking about with Michelle Monaghan is they give you a glimpse of 6 years later in a relationship.
Yep.
They don't condense the relationship to 48 hours.
Which movies do so often that drives me nuts. Like, I love the new Ready Player One movie, but the book really builds up their relationship. This one, it was like he told Artemis he loved her, and like they'd known each other for like 2 days, and it's like this isn't some Romeo and Juliet stuff, you know? And they're not teenagers that in Ready Player One, they are teenagers. Sure. But like in this, Tom Cruise is not a teenager.
But it's also like they've not been through stuff together.
No.
Like, at least if they were on a mission and
He
something
knows nothing
happened.
about her.
Yeah, if something happened to them together and they persevered, then maybe. But they almost killed each other.
You know what did? But what did happen is in that moment they went from being playful and like speedsters and like, ooh, this is dangerous, to like, we've gone too far. When they're like spinning out of control and it gets super slow motion, and she's just like, and he's like, oh no, what have we done?
What did they think was gonna happen?
So stupid.
And
It's so dumb.
then when he pulls her up and they are just sitting in the car that's hanging off the cliff, get out of the car!
Get out of the car! I was screaming that at the TV. I was like, get out of the car! I don't care. Don't make out.
Yeah.
Clip number 3 is awesome because this is Anthony Hopkins. And also, by the way, this doesn't seem like an impossible mission to go get Thandie Newton. And nothing about this seems impossible except some of the stunts in the end. But let's play clip number 3.
Well, this is not mission difficult, Mr. Hunt. It's mission impossible. Difficult should be a walk in the park for you.
That's rude.
It's really rude.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't know what Ethan Hunt has to go through. He just sits back and barks orders.
Ethan Hunt is fatigued from rock climbing.
He is.
Okay,
It was very difficult.
Yeah.
So then he goes and collects his team, and this is Ving Rhames' intro. In clip number 4.
This ain't funny. That's what these $800 Gucci shoes. And you got me in a helicopter with this man?
So this is another example of like, what? Because Ving Rhames sets up the guy as like, this guy got
and then they never
go back to that.
Anything with him.
Yeah.
The other guy's basically just like, hey guys, I'm Australian, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe British. They don't really even say. I'll just fly the helicopter.
It doesn't matter. He's never annoying. He's never like a problem.
Never has an opinion.
No, he's just there.
He might as well have been helicopter pilot number 2.
Yeah, but Ving Rhames hates him.
You got this guy here? What's Snowball in Hell?
Let's hear it.
Oh.
Stand by, guys. Stand by.
How dare you? I will not stand by.
We just rolled up a snowball and tossed it into hell. Now we'll see what chance it is.
That's a great line.
It's
When was
poetry
that?
from Tom Cruise. That's when they put Tandy Newton into the complex and they can no longer see her on the cameras, and they're just like, well, hope this goes well.
And it does for the audience. It doesn't, because the movie slows down for about a 40-minute patch.
It does, but what we do get is when Dougray, am I saying his name correctly?
Sure.
When Dougray Scott,
I like Dougray Scott, but
I'm gonna go a little more southern. When he gives Tandy Newton the dress to try on, and she takes her clothes off in front of him, because I guess there's not a changing area in that enormous mansion. But when he gives that to her and she takes her clothes off, the face that he makes is so predatory and so disgusting that I almost turned off the movie.
Yeah.
It was just like,
Was it kind of like this sort of face?
it was the
I want you to change in front of me.
it was the face personification of that voice.
That voice, okay,
Yeah,
perfect. Perfect.
So okay, I know we're speeding through these, but
That's fine, because I want to get to the main action scene
Yeah.
anyways. It's all a bunch of like, oh, I'm jealous. Oh, and then the thing at the horse race where the big mission is to get the SIM card, and then
But so this is
Yeah.
that, right? This is
Yeah.
them describing the reconnaissance they're doing. But I want you to listen to this sound clip and picture everybody watching the exact same thing. Go.
Ambrose is showing something to McCloy on a digital camera.
Yeah, we all see it.
Whatever McCoy's looking at, he's not happy about it.
Right, obviously.
Yep.
Yeah. Wait for it.
that's how the movie feels.
Ambrose just pulled the camera's memory card and put it into an envelope.
Yeah, we saw it.
Put it in his inner left jacket pocket.
Confirm left jacket pocket.
Everyone is watching. Everybody is watching. There's nobody blind to this action, but they're describing exactly what they're seeing to like a comical degree.
Because all they needed to do was say, confirm left jacket pocket. That's it. The rest of it is just super expository.
Yeah.
And like, oh my god.
For what reason? It's unclear.
Oh, and then Tandy Newton steals it. She then gives it. Richard Roxburgh, I believe, who was in Moulin Rouge, who's the
Ooh.
bad guy sidekick in this. Sidekick. He might as well be called sidekick number 2.
Yep.
He is following after her, but following so slowly that he can't see her turn around and have like a romantic conversation with Tom Cruise, which is where this next clip, number 7, comes from.
You turned around.
When Tom Cruise is behind her in line and says, "Don't turn around,"
Yeah.
and then she turns around.
That's his reaction.
Yeah.
Ready?
You turned around.
I mean, this is a matter of life and death, not like, ooh, that was a sexy dance move.
Ooh,
You know salsa.
ooh.
That's what it sounds like.
You disobeyed a direct order.
Again, this also, after seeing part 6 and then part 3 and then this, it doesn't even feel like Ethan Hunt.
No.
It feels like this weird Lothario, Lothario?
Sure.
Because lethargic is a different, is if he was, The movie made me lethargic,
Yes.
watching this Lothario do very lethal kicks.
Hey.
Alliteration! Ah! I don't know why I did that.
No one's been more excited for an alliteration.
No one has been more excited. So then let's just skip ahead to the big action sequence. So he played the cool. It was cool when he pretends to be Boris the Blade, and I'm like, oh crap, what are they doing? They're playing the head of Bioite, and they get all the information they need. But then it just becomes a mask after mask after mask after mask. It's like a Halloween party.
It's a
here.
lot of disguise.
Which I don't remember them ever fully until part 3 showing how they make the masks with like a 3D printer.
Oh no, they never. Yeah, they never.
3
had.
shows it, and then the 6th one shows it more, where it's like, oh, I see the technology. In this one, it's just like, you just believe we have full-on masks and like little things that change the voice.
Yeah, just fully available. I also love that Sean Ambrose used the Tom Cruise one in the beginning, but then just had a spare. He just has a closet full of Tom. Like, I would love just to see a shot of his closet with all the Tom Cruise masks.
And
just
why do
sitting there.
these seem like they're difficult to make a little bit? Why did they just peel them off and discard them? Why don't they just like put them in their pocket and save it
I
for
don't
a
know.
rainy day?
Maybe they're ruined. It's like I've never seen a mask where I was like, that looks like a human face. Never in my life.
And this movie really, the other ones at least like the part 3 shows them attaching it to make it look like Philip Seymour Hoffman. So you buy into it more. This is just we're supposed to believe. Yep. It gets cartoonish.
Yeah, my main issue with sequels is when they ruminate on like the wrong things from the first one.
Were there masks in the first one?
There were,
There's
I think,
one or
two. I think two.
Okay.
But like it was a cool idea.
Yeah.
And so in 2 they were like, let's really do it this time.
Yeah.
And it's like, we didn't need it. It's cool because we only did it once or twice. We don't need to do it
400 times.
Yeah.
You play a drinking game, you'll have alcohol poisoning in this movie.
Most definitely.
There's at least 8, if not more.
Yeah. So we get almost halfway through the movie before we really break down what Chimera
What is happening.
Yeah.
Yes. Can we play clip number 8?
I needed to know just how bad the disease was in the real world, not just the lab. You were genetically splicing together strains of influenza. And to create a cure for all influenzas, you were also creating a disease so terrible in Chimera. The cure would be priceless. I needed Chimera in order to peddle Bellerophon. It's not that difficult to understand, is it?
I love that they end that clip with, it's not that difficult to understand, is it? Because I feel like they got a network note or a note from the studio somewhere where they were like, we don't really get this.
Also, why is he explaining this to the man that was doing it?
Right.
Like if you and if you showed up to this show and I was like, we're trying to get more views this week because we know Mission Impossible Fallout is in theaters, so we're doing Mission Impossible 2 in just a feeble attempt to get more viewership than our regular 12 people.
Yeah.
Is that difficult to understand?
No, but I understood it before we talked about
It's
this.
just so weird.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. So anyways, he finds out. They go to Bioite. They do this big elaborate like zip line thing down through these where they basically rip off the first one again and make it more absurd, where he has to get through and then the rope has to get back up within 40 seconds. He goes.
Why don't they cut the rope? That's what I was thinking when they did, because they spent like half of the time trying to like detach him and pull the rope back up.
Just we're almost out of time.
Yeah,
cut it.
Just cut it. It's
That's
fine.
easier.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, and then he goes and he destroys, which I thought they said they couldn't be destroyed in the scene with the bad guy from Bioite, but whatever. He destroys 3 of them. There's 1 sample left, and dudes come in and start shooting, and it's an awesome shootout for a John Woo movie. Silly for a Mission Impossible film. It's just the double guns, which I love.
Yep.
And all the slow motion and kind of what usually is awesome in a John Woo movie seems just silly and over the top in this one.
Yeah, they did a lot of the like the slow-mo turning and then taking it from a different angle and doing the same slow-mo
The Jean-Claude
turn.
Van Damme thing.
Yeah.
Where he does a jump kick and they do it from like 4 different angles over and over again.
They did a lot of that.
Yeah. It's like they were like, isn't this awesome? Oh, it's awesome from this angle.
Yeah.
And this angle.
Right. It's the same, actually.
This movie would be 90 minutes if the action wasn't all in slow motion. So then there's this big shootout. He blows up a hole in the wall and jumps out. But what's the not gonna shoot me? Is that in here?
This is in here.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not gonna shoot me, Sean. Not this bitch. Because she's worth £37 million.
There you go.
I mean, it's again extremely unclear as to how this virus works.
I have no idea.
And if they shoot her, can't they just take her blood?
I would assume, unless it dies instantly when someone dies.
But then that's the cure. You know what I mean? Like that's cold, but like.
Yeah, the virus thing is very underdeveloped.
Also, not to like harp on, because it really doesn't matter in the long run. But like, if the antidote cures the flu, then like that's valuable enough. You don't need the disease.
Yeah. Well, the antidote cures chimera, not necessarily the flu.
But that wasn't he saying that like
he said they were trying to find a cure for all flus, and they basically developed a super bug.
I don't know, but I bet it's
the third
still
one,
probably.
Hey, and the third one, they never even explain to you what they're
that's
after.
true.
They're just like, don't you want to know?
Yeah.
Nah.
It truly doesn't matter. It's just like they probably should know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They should know. They should know.
Yeah.
So what's Run That Bastard Down? Is that after? Oh, this is after his buddy gets killed, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So Tom Cruise does this, his mission, his impossible mission. He goes in, he's super stealth at this compound in the end where they're going to sell it to someone, which we never meet that someone they're going to sell it to. Mm-hmm. But they go there, and there's this impossible mission he's going to do. And the head of Bioite, we realize Ambrose is going to take control of the company and get 51% of the stock because the virus is going to be an outbreak in Australia somehow. We don't know. Anyways, he's doing this stealth mission. And he's being very he's trying to make sure he's not heard or seen. And then he goes to where the main bad guys are, throws a bomb, blows up the door, and just like super cocky walks in front of it in slow motion as a dove flies by.
Just walks by the door.
And they all just stare at him. Why didn't they immediately go, oh, there's an explosion, draw our guns and shoot at whatever comes through?
Right.
But they all just go...
Because they all look up like, whoever just blew up our door is probably just going to walk past. They're probably not going to come in. Like, they kind of dodged a bullet with that one.
Again,
that he didn't come barreling through.
It would be awesome in a John Woo movie. In this, it's just like, what is happening?
Yeah.
So they chase it, and he goes, chase after him! Or whatever, and they go, and he does so many, gratuitous, again, there's so many times Tom Cruise is hiding on the ceiling and falls down and kicks somebody. And the main bad guy, the main henchman, we think that he's brought Tom Cruise in, Ethan Hunt.
Yep.
He's dragging him, and it's clearly he's like, oh, I broke his jaw. But okay, sure, yeah. And he's like, and he shoots him, and then he realizes something, and he pulls the mask back, and it's actually his.
Yeah, he sees the cut finger.
That's right, his cut finger. And then in that moment, though, when everybody was paying attention to that, why didn't Tom Cruise just shoot them all or set another bomb off and then run out? But instead, he grabs the Chimera and runs.
And while he's running, pulls the mask off. He just wastes some time being like, I need to be myself when I'm running. I need people to see me running.
There's so many crazy things that happen in it and so many slow motion. There's a lot of kicks. There's just a ton of kicks. Yes. It was like Tom Cruise figured out how to do a roundhouse kick and was just like, we got to do this as many times as possible. He hops on the motorcycle, and the motorcycle chase scene is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I dig that. This, again, though, gets kind of, even though the other ones are absurd, I feel like they're still somewhat grounded in reality. When he jumps on the side of the motorcycle and is basically pavement skiing, and Ambrose is a trained IMF agent shooting multiple times, shoot the wheel, shoot his arm that's fully sticking out. Is this motorcycle bulletproof?
Right, just shoot the area, because
he's shooting the motorcycle like 800 times and it doesn't, no bullet goes through the motorcycle?
No. No. Do you know how motorcycles work, Ben? They stop bullets.
They stop bullets.
What are you, an idiot?
Apparently so. I just laughed like like a wheezy bad guy.
Yeah.
That's how I laugh when I think of silly motorcycles.
There's so many doves, which I need to look up because...
Can doves live in cages?
Can doves live
or caves, I mean.
That's the thing I need to look up, is what John Woo's fascination with doves are, because they appear in everything. And I guess it maybe is like the heralding of the hero, like even when the dove flies in front of Tom Cruise in that shot, it looks very angelic. Like, again, that works in some of his other movies.
Can I just say?
What is happening? Yes, please. Run that bastard down. We do have to play that. Yes.
Quick diversion, but on the John Woo dove train.
There's even doves on the back of the cover.
Perfect.
By the way.
At the end of Face Off, not to spoil it or anything, but everyone's seen Face Off, right?
Of course.
Okay. When he's coming back home, and first of all, he just had his face surgerized again.
Yeah.
And no one in his family picked him up from the hospital. They were just
Super
at home
rude.
chilling. And he
I never thought about that.
And he comes home.
It's a major surgery.
Yeah. And a scheduled surgery. Everyone knew. But he comes home, and I was making fun of this with my wife a bunch after we watched it recently. But the daughter, when she hears the car pull up, she goes, "Dad?" And it's just so stupid, because of course you know that it's him. He just had the surgery. You chose not to be there.
Why
to pick
are
him
you
up.
surprised?
And then, you're surprised by it. It's such a great combination of.
The best is that the kid's nervous at first until she weirdly brushes his face, and suddenly he's like, okay.
Right.
If I was a foster kid and the second I went in there, they went like this, I'd be like, oh, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, this is not for me.
This is not for me.
Yeah, and everyone's just pretty chill with the foster kid also. So that clearly replaced their son. All right, anyway.
So let's play clip number 10. Run that bastard down.
Run that bastard down.
Run that bastard down. We're doing a pretty good accent. Run that bastard down. It's so good.
He's like a parody of himself in this clip.
He is. Oh my God. So there's this motorcycle chase. It's crazy. The stunts are nuts. Tom Cruise is really driving it at points and really attached to this like safety van that's carting him around. But he's on it. He actually does the skiing. He actually did the rock climbing. Then comes the most bonkers stunt to me, which is there's this big fight scene. There's a bunch of flip kicks and stuff. And then Sean Ambrose jumps at him with a knife. And did you know that that's a real knife?
No.
And that they had it hooked up to a pulley system that was measured out to stop at the precise moment to be that close to his eyeball.
Wow.
And so, say Tom Cruise sneezes or the chain breaks or anything like that, that's a knife to an A-lister's eyeball.
That's
and
insane.
Even the moment where he's like scraping his eyelash, it's a real knife. They were like, we wanted a real knife so that it was the sharpness and the glint of it and everything. And I'm like, you couldn't have done a rubber one at least or something? Like it's on the behind the scenes documentary, and I even rewatched it last night to make sure. And they full on had somebody jump and stop with the knife right there, or slam it down and stop with the precision of it. And that's crazy.
That's terrifying.
That's crazy. So as crazy as it is that he was strapped to the side of a plane and all these other things, I think getting a knife this close to your eyeball is still up there for me.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Yeah.
And then
I
there's
would've said no to
there's
that.
this big fight, and Ambrose gets full on spin kicked into a rock where he hits his head. You think he's dead.
Yeah, what you're forgetting is when they're driving towards each other on
God,
the
how could I
motorcycles,
forget that?
and they both somehow psychically give the other person, I'm about to jump off this motorcycle. Will you join me? And they both leap off and catch each other in each other's arms and roll to the ground.
It's kind of romantic.
Yeah.
It's not even like a crush to like hit each other. It's more like, I'm coming to get you.
It's just an embrace. But like, what would have happened if one of them was like, no.
Wait, not yet.
Yeah. And the other person just went flying. They probably would have died.
Stupid.
Maybe just let them do that.
Oh, it's so dumb. It doesn't even look cool.
No.
And then he's laying there dead on the ground. Thandie Newton's there, and there's this romantic moment, and Ving Rhames is like, "Oh no, look out!" And then he turns around, and Sean Ambrose says this while pausing afterwards for the longest time ever.
You should have killed me.
Which you would think that would be, I'm going to shoot you in the back right now.
Yeah.
And instead, there's a super long pause as Tom Cruise slowly turns around and then nods to his friends, kicks the gun perfectly out of the sand and catches it, falls to the ground and shoots him. All in that time, he can't pull the trigger.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah, always shoot first and then speak later.
Shoot first and then say you should have killed me.
And then taunt him. Yeah.
Oh, man, this movie's so silly. So silly. We are happy to be back, ladies and gentlemen, talking about Mission Impossible 2. We're going to do our best to try and see the Meg before next week. But if not, we will be covering the Meg in the next couple weeks. So, if you don't want that movie spoiled, pay attention to our Twitter feed and we'll let you know when we're covering it so you can see it beforehand, or just avoid the episode until you've seen it, because we're going to get into heavy spoilers, and I can't wait. A giant megalodon shark movie with Jason Statham. That's my perfect guilty movie pleasure.
They almost had Jason Biggs. They were this close.
Jesse, until next time, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TooMuchJesse, and for the sketch at The Prom Losers.
You can find me at the Ben Begley on Twitter and Instagram.
And I won't do the Parents vs. Baby in that voice because it's weird. And you can find my wife and I. We have a parenting blog at Parents vs. Baby. Check that out. Until next time, check out at Guilty Movie Guys as well, because we want to know,
what is your guilty movie pleasure?
Producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network. We would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network. The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.